In the same way of managing the emotional cultural pattern, we have to model the emotions which we want to cultivate. Because cultivating emotions in an organization is equally important as any other process in the organization. Say you should encourage venting, just let the emotions flow with no attempt at solving the root problems, there is no meaning. Only when you solve the root problems which are creating problems, real problems, and that root cause analysis has to be done by a group of mentors, a group of onlookers, a group of observers, a group of theorists who had that academic background and academic pattern of understanding the organizational psychology, organizational behavior, organizational process, and the link where there is difference and where there is gulf between the top management and middle management and the lower level management. This gulf should be and can be understood by only people with a lot of wisdom and experience in the running of organization and having a clear cut enlightened a method in understanding the organization to model the emotions you want to cultivate. About this subject, the present we are discussing in this talk is how to model the emotions you want to cultivate. That means, first of all, the management should have a clear idea what are the emotions it want to cultivate. Then choose a model, prepare a model, construct a model with all deliberation and debate. If management thinks a single slogan given by the CEO that it will catch like a fire and it will become automatically an emotion of the organization and will be adopted by every worker of the organization, definitely it is a myth. There must be a method, there must be a mode, there must be a clear cultivate work to cultivate that emotional pattern in the workers. A long line of research on emotional contagion shows that people in groups catch feelings from others through behavioral mimicry and subsequent changes in the brain function. If you regularly walk into the room smiling with high energy, you are much more likely to create a culture of joy than if you wear a neutral expression. Your employees will smile back and start to mean it. But negative feelings too spread like wildfire. If you frequently express frustration, that emotion will affect your team members and their team members and so on throughout the organization. Before you know, you will have created already the culture of frustration among the various individuals, among the various sections of the organization. You must have felt happy because you have given very high salary or high perks or high privileges to a section of the people who are close to the center of power, and if they are telling you that everything is good, great, I am sorry to say that it is a wrong perception and it will create a foul smell in the creation of the organization. People in groups catch feeling from others so easily because it will have a demonstrative effect, because they will be working from dawn to dusk in a particular place by interacting several topics including the process of the organization, how the organization is creating, what are the emotions or against to their emotional pattern. Is there any blending process done by the boss or a senior manager or a training center or not? All these factors will be discussed by the groups whenever they meet. Get people who are not trained, they will give you fake expressions, fake feedback. I would like to emphasize that fake feedback and psychophonetic feedback can never help the top management to create or to model emotions, an emotional pattern in the organization which will be helpful to reach the higher level of excellence in the organization. The employees do not experience that the desired emotion at a particular moment, they can still help maintain their organization's emotional culture. That is because people express emotions both spontaneously and strategically at work. Social psychology research has long shown the individuals tend to conform to group norms of emotional expression, limiting or imitating others out of desire to be liked and accepted. They feel it is better to go with a social acceptance. Why should we express our emotions? That means there are no wind, there are no bridges, there are no channels created by the top management for these groups to express their dislike, their emotional pattern, their real will, their subconscious thought, what exactly they are feeling in their subconscious mind about the process of the organization. So, employees with strong emotional culture who would not otherwise feel that express the valued emotion will begin to demonstrate it even if their initial motivation is to be compliant rather than internalize the culture. That emotional compliance, that emotional motivation has to be modeled, cultivated, and implemented from top to bottom in a very, very hard working way. Cultural things, of course, the culture will be much stronger and more likely endure if people truly believe in the values and assumptions behind it. I repeat these two words, values and assumptions behind it. If you are modeling a particular emotional pattern and culture top to bottom, if you think that it automatically becomes beautiful, positive way, it is incorrect because people must truly believe in the values and assumptions behind the emotional pattern you want to create or the management want to cultivate. Someone who is uncomfortable with an organization's emotional culture must keep pretending in order to be successful would probably be better off moving to a different work environment. This is the problem which modern organizations facing because they don't express but they want to move out. Very, very slowly but steadily they will search for the way to moving out from the organization. Implementation matters at all levels. If CEO addresses a group of managers of 10 or 12 in his room with all beautiful English and cultured way which he has learnt from Harvard or any other Western university, it will not have a lot of impact. Maybe he will be influencing with all hypocrites which he is surrounded. May en masse say excellent slogan and excellent slogan. But the experimentation down to the level, implementation matters at all level. And what is the interaction level and what is the reaction level from down to the workforce only can lead the organization in modeling its emotional patterns and inculcating, that is cultivating emotions which the organization want. Here comes the role of top management to drive it. Leaders are often insufficiently aware of how much influence they have in creating an emotional pattern and how much they can cultivate emotional requirements to the organization. Several management experts have pointed out, do not underestimate the importance of day to day modeling. A modeling is short term pattern and long term pattern. We should never neglect the importance of day to day modeling. Though top management sets the first example and established the formal rules, middle managers and frontline supervisors ensure that the emotional values are consistently practiced by others. Because one of the biggest influences on employees is their immediate boss. The suggestions that apply to senior executives also apply to those managers. They should ensure that the emotions they express at work reflect the chosen culture and they should speak explicitly about what is expected from employees. Speaking explicitly what they are expecting from the employees, what emotions they want to create, what emotional pattern they want to inculcate. The management from top to bottom has to be clear. The methodology be very clear. How the blend of sensibility, that formula has to be done duly studying the various forces in the organization, various levels of emancipation in their own group of managers. So, understanding the importance of day-to-day modeling will give you the way for long-term modeling and create an emotional pattern in the organization. It is also important to link the emotional culture to operations and processes, including performance management systems. The culture of joy has been incorporated into the annual review, which indicates how well each employee integrates fun into the work environment and rates everyone on supporting behaviors, such as being inclusive, welcoming, approachable, and positive. Someone who exceeds expectations is described as not only taking part in the fun but also offering recommendations to improve the work environment to integrate the fun. Here, the role of top management comes in. It should have a clear eye, it should have a clear ear to listen, it should have an intention to listen about the feedback coming from bottom to top. Decades worth of research demonstrates the importance of organizational emotions, managing the emotions of the organization, and modeling the emotions in an organization. And these emotions have to be cultivated in the organization. And most of it has focused on the cognitive component. As we have shown, organizations also have an emotional pulse. This we have to remember always. Organizations do have an emotional pulse, and managers must track it closely to motivate their teams and reach their goals. This is the real responsibility, cumbersome but inevitable responsibility, specifically by the middle managers and lower level managers. And the top management should give clear pattern, understandable and emotionally. First, it should inculcate inspiration and that work zeal in the middle managers. Then middle managers have to translate it into action with the help of the lower level managers, duly enlightening the lower level managers and inculcating the value pattern which it wanted to. Emotional culture is shaped by how all employees from the highest echelons to the front lines comport themselves day in and day out. But it is up to senior leaders to establish which emotions will help the organization to thrive. Model those emotions and reward others for doing the same. Companies in which they do this have a lot to gain. Ultimately, I sincerely appeal to my listeners, if they are practicing managers, first of all, study the organization. What is emotional pattern which they are countering, which they are facing in day-to-day work, and even up to the level of interacting to the top management. Then suggest, learn, train your team, and with the assistance of the top management. Here the role is vital by the top management by communicating what emotions have to be cultivated and what emotions have to be inculcated in the minds of their fellow travelers in the organization. Then definitely it